Hi, welcome back to my channel. This book review is for A Village Fete Murder by Gayle. Now, Gayle is a duo partnership writing team. In fact, the authors are Kate Sidley and Gayle Schimmel, and they make a fabulous writing duo, and they have produced one series already, which is the Effany Bloom Mystery Series, and then this one here, the Cozy Mystery Series, the Julia Bird Mystery Series. Now, I did read the first two books in this series, and I just want to tell you the names of them, and I might even, if I remember correctly, try to throw up the covers, but if I don't, they are An English Garden Murder, and then the second one was Murder in the Library. Now, just very briefly, I'll mention that I am a series fanatic, and if you follow my blog or my channel or talk to me on social media, you know that I am gung-ho about series. Number two is I love cozy mysteries, and that's exactly what this is. It's the third book in the I just drew a total blank. It's the third book in the Julia Bird Mystery Series, or in this case, Cozy Mystery Series. So, in this book, Julia, who is a retired social worker, is about to attend the village fete. When fete is, I believe, a French word, but in our here we would say a festival or a fair, something along that line. And she's very happy to be going. And she's going with her friend, Dr. Sean. And I believe Sean's a vet. And they are walking together, so to speak. Julia's about my age, late 50s, very early 60s. And she is retired from her job. She has a gentleman friend, and they've reached the hold handing stage, and so that's adorable and all that. So she goes to the village fete with Sean, and she is entering a cake in the baking competition, and she hopes that she wins. Meanwhile, there is like a maze at the fairgrounds or at the festival, and her and Sean are walking through the maze. And as they do, they stumble upon a dead body. Okay, now, Julia always has referred to herself as I think it's a professional interferer, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a month or more since I read the book. But I believe she calls herself a professional interferer because she can't just say, let's contact the police. Please, there's a dead body. And then, go back to whatever she's doing. No, she wants to get to the bottom of things. And so she starts to look at what's going on. And as she does, she discovers, or it's discovered, that the body belonged to a teacher from a local school. And the thing is, this teacher had enemies. Why would a teacher have enemies? Or at least, why did this teacher in particular have enemies? Well, sadly, very, very sadly, this book, as a cozy mystery, is usually lighthearted, takes on a very serious nature. What is that seriousness? That seriousness is the fact that the teacher that was killed bullied her students. Now, we all know bullying is a deplorable activity, and we find that with bullying, when it involves children, there are very, very certain guidelines that the school will take on in order to stop bullying. You might get expelled or suspended. Well, how did this teacher carry on bullying her students? So I like that this lighthearted cozy mystery series dealt with bullying from a different aspect, with respect, with sensitivity, with dignity, to the degree that Julia's concern, more than just solving the murder, was to make sure that these children in this school was safe in a safe environment. However, the teacher wasn't the only murder. By the way, did I say that? When Julia and Sean happened upon the body, I think I left this out, but I'll put it in now. When Julia and Sean happened upon the body, they thought perhaps this teacher had died of a heart attack. It didn't take very long at all for the police and the medical examiner to find the cause of death, which was strangulation, and therefore she was murdered. So my question a few seconds ago was that the only murder that happened involving that school? Well, unfortunately, no. There was another murder that took place. Now, meanwhile, there's a young man in the picture. Who is this young man? What effect does he have on Julia? And what does Julia do to help him? And is he perhaps involved in these murders? So that's kind of, I don't know if I want to call it an Easter egg, but it's just a wee bit of something to throw in there to give you something to think about when you go to read this cozy mystery, what kind of things you can look for when you're reading this book. Now, as I mentioned, this is the third book in the Julia Bird series, and all three books are on Kindle Unlimited. And the books are very, very brief. Like, for example, this book is only 255 pages. So should you have a Kindle Unlimited subscription, and you got books 1, book 2, and then this one, book 3, they're just a few hours of reading, but it's very pleasant reading. And one last thing I'm going to throw in about Julia. She has 2 dogs, but one dog that is usually always with her is Jake. And everybody that loves this series loves seeing Jake accompany Julia during her curious stage of finding out who killed who and why, and let's catch this culprit, and okay, then we'll hand it off to the police. So that's it for this cozy mystery review. I want to thank you for watching, and believe me, I will be back with more. Bye-bye.